What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Z Sports and Entertainment. I am Z, coming to you from the basement. Today's video, we are going to do a Week 2 NFL Week 2 recap. NFL Week 2 recap. Just talk about everything that happened, everything that took place as far as the games that we played this weekend. And we're just going to talk about some football. We are going to be here every day this week, so it's going to be a content-filled week. I know I say that a lot, but yeah, I really mean it this week. It's going to be a content-filled week. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. But today, we got Week 2 NFL recap. Let's talk about it. We're going to start with the Thursday night game. The Los Angeles Chargers going to Kansas City Chiefs. That was a good game. In my honest opinion, the Chargers made one mistake. The Chargers made one mistake the whole game, and that was the Justin Herbert pick six. Other than that, I think the Chargers played great. No Keenan Allen, Mike Williams stepped up. Jesse Palmer stepped up. Gerald Everett made some good plays. Austin Eckler was Austin Eckler. Justin Herbert did get hurt, unfortunately. I don't know if he cracked one or multiple ribs, but he did fracture a rib or ribs. So he's now listed as day-to-day. I don't think he's gonna miss any time. I think he's gonna be okay. But that's a tough blow for the Chargers. The Chiefs are good, man. I mean, I was one of those people who thought maybe they wouldn't look as good as they normally would without Tyreek Hill, but Andy Reid's scheme, Eric Bellamy's scheme, they got it figured out. They got it going on. I mean, this team is so hard. It's gonna be hard to beat them. It's gonna be hard to beat the Kansas City Chiefs this year. I mean, because literally the Chargers made one mistake, and the Chiefs still found a way to come out on top. Those rookie corners look good in Kansas City, but that was just a good all around game. Great way for Thursday night Amazon kickoff. That was a great way for that to pop off. Chargers 1-1, Chiefs 2-0. Still early, but that AFC West is gonna be a dogfight, man. That AFC West is gonna be a dogfight. The Chiefs showed me just how good that they could possibly be this year, and the Chargers kind of still look like the Chargers of old. You know, look good. They gotta figure out how to turn these type of games into wins. You were up the whole game, had a 10-point lead. Justin Herbert makes one mistake, and that cost them the game. Let's move over. We're going to go over to the Steelers and Patriots. The Patriots traveled to Pittsburgh, and they got the win, man. Just looking at these two teams last week, it was very hard to think that the Patriots was going to come out here and get a W, especially after traveling to Pittsburgh. That offense did not look good. That offense still does not look good. That was an ugly game. That was a defensive game. It was ugly from an offensive side of the ball. Two teams who are genuinely trying to figure out who they are offensively. Defensively, I think they know who they are. Steelers may have a couple of more questions to answer with T.J. Watt being out 5 more games. But if I'm Patriots fans, or if I'm watching the Patriots this season, I'm not getting too high on this win. Mr. Trubisky had some connection issues. It was some mistiming, This is the growing pains when you go from having a quarterback for the past 15 plus years to now starting over at the position. I mean, this is what's going to happen. I think yesterday was the first time that people actually, considered Kenny Pickett. But I think you give Trubisky some more time. Let him try to figure it out. It's not doomsday. You're 1-1 in a division where I think everybody is 1-1. And if you're the Patriots, you got to find a way to build on this. You won a game. It was ugly. Stats didn't look too good. It was an ugly win, but you won the game. if you can find a way to build on this, come back next week and try to steal another one, do what you got to do. New England Patriots 1-1 on the season. Pittsburgh Steelers 1-1 on the season. Carolina Panthers traveled to New York to play the Giants, and that was an interesting game. That was a real interesting game. It was good to see. It was good to see the Giants play with some passion. You know, after a big win against Tennessee, Brian Daboll, head coaching debut, going for 2. They end up getting the win against Tennessee. Nobody sees that coming. And, I mean, they played passion. They played passionate football. And they did it again this week against the Carolina Panthers. Brian Daboll is really giving Daniel Jones a chance to show who he is as a player. And he's really allowing Saquon to become the guy who we all thought he was, and who you know what I'm saying? Saquon's balling. Even though his stats didn't really, pop off the charts yesterday, what he was able to do in the fourth quarter, as far as, allowing them to keep that lead, allowing them to just allowing them to play from ahead, even though it was tied majority of the fourth quarter. Having that bell cow in the back who you can hand it to on first and second down and give you third and shorts, or, not even make it to third down. He's a weapon. And I like the way they're using him. Panthers, it's been a rough 2 weeks because the Panthers could easily be 2-0. They really could. The Panthers could easily be 2-0. Baker's still figuring out this offense. He's still, figuring out his receivers. And Christian McCaffrey is still working his way back. He's showing flashes, but he hasn't been, the Christian McCaffrey that everybody, so loves and all of that. But, I mean, New York Giants 2-0. I don't really know what to say other than that. I mean, are they pretenders or are they contenders? We're going to find out real soon. Like I said, it's still early, but they are one of the very few 2-0 teams. And the Carolina Panthers fall to 0-2. They just got to figure it out. I'm getting a little worried for Matt Rule from a job security standpoint. He got paid a lot of money to come there from Baylor, and it's not resulting in wins. I'm not sure if they've made the postseason since he's been there, but we'll see how the season goes. Panthers 0-2, Giants 2-0. New York Jets traveled to Cleveland to play the Browns, and that was one of the crazy-ass games of this week. Jets down 14 points, 13 points, under 2 minutes, and Joe Flacco turned into the Joe Flacco of old, man. There's something about them Cleveland Brown colors and them Cleveland Brown uniforms that turns Joe Flacco into to Joe Montana. I mean, seriously, that old head was slinging the ball, man. He was throwing that motherfucker in the fourth quarter, and I like the usage of Garrett Wilson. I like the usage of Breece Hall. I like the usage of Michael Carter. I like the fact that they're using the guys that they have drafted. I would love to see more Elijah Moore. I would love to see a little bit more Corey Davis. But I like what the Jets are showing these first 2 weeks. Even though this was probably a game that if they played again, I don't think they would win. But I guess it's just good to see the two New York teams win. I mean, I don't know. The Zach Wilson not playing and Mekhi Becton going down for the season, and that was a hell of a win for them. That was a hell of a win for them. For them to have no timeouts, under 2 minutes, down 13, score on a busted coverage, get the onside kick, and then score again. Kudos to Robert Saleh. Kudos to the New York Jets. And if you're Cleveland, everybody's joking about the elf being put in the middle of the field. You know, is that gonna be bad luck? You know, whatever. But if you're Cleveland, just point blank period, you just gotta win that game. You go up by 13 points with under 2 minutes left, and the other team has no timeouts. No timeouts, 2 possession game under 2 minutes. That don't even sound right. If you Cleveland moving up to 2-0 with no Deshaun Watson, with Jacoby Brissett as your starting quarterback, you in a prime position. Like, you putting yourself in great shape as far as when Deshaun does come back, allowing yourself to not necessarily lose a game, but you give yourself some breathing room. New York Jets pull it out 31-30 over the Cleveland Browns. Jets move to 1-1. Browns fall to 1-1. I mean, a lot of just very competitive, just very, very competitive. Indianapolis Colts traveled down to what seems to be hell for them in Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Before this game, the Jaguars have beat the Colts the previous 7 times in Jacksonville. Well, that didn't change this week. Jacksonville moved that to 8, and the Colts didn't score a point. 24-0 Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So, Colts went to Jacksonville. Matt Ryan's second game as a starter with the Colts. It's looking ugly in Indianapolis. I give you that. But I got a couple of reasons as to why I think so. Week 1 against the Texans. Week 1, both teams figuring each other out. Both teams, that's the first time, starters going the whole game. So I didn't. Maybe this is where I fuck up, but I kind of give teams a pass week 1 as far as win-loss. Week 2, they was without a lot of people. They had no Michael Pittman, no Pierce. So you're down 2 of your top 4 receivers. You don't got Darius Leonard. I think Kenny Moore's still out. You down a lot. And you already a team who had receiver questions coming into the season. You didn't bring back Jack Doyle. So Jonathan Taylor and Naeem Hines are a big part of your offense, especially when you don't have Michael Pittman. They got a lot to figure out. They got a lot to figure out. In their division, I do think they have time. But at the same time, I think Jacksonville isn't necessarily on the up and up, but I think they could have one of the better defenses in the NFL this year. I think that Josh Allen, Trevon Walker combo is going to pan out to be pretty damn good. And their secondary isn't terrible. Tyson Campbell from Georgia, Jenkins made a lot of plays yesterday. Jags look good. The Jags are another team that could be 2-0. They had a rough week. They had a rough week 1 against Washington. That didn't turn out the way they wanted to, but they bounced back this week against the Colts, man. Jaguars 1-1, Colts 0-1-1. Dolphins Ravens. Jesus, Miami traveled to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Lamar Jackson had probably the best game of his career. What's messed up about that is Tua doubled down and had the best game of his career, and Miami comes back and wins the game. Miami, that was a hell of a game. It was 35-14, I believe, and Dolphins scored 28 unanswered. That fourth quarter was crazy. If you had any questions about Tyreek Hill in Miami and if he was going to be okay and from a production level, I think Tyreek Hill is going to be fine. There was a lot of things in this game that I saw that I was very happy to see because I wanted to see this type of stuff. Mike McDaniels coming from San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan. The first thing I said when they made that decision to hire him and bring Tyreek Hill over was they're going to have to use Tyreek Hill somewhat like San Francisco uses Deebo Samuels. Not to say that Tyreek Hill is going to get carries out the backfield, but he lined up in the backfield multiple times last year. That's versatile. That's confusing the defense. That means you are telling the defense that there's a chance that this man could be lined up with your linebacker, your drop safety. And that's a mismatch all day. Even if it's a hallucination, it's a mismatch. Jalen Waddle had a game. 11 catches, 171, 2 tubs. The speed of this team is looking like it's about to start exposing people. Mike Gesicki had a great day. Tua, I'm just so happy and so proud of Tua And I got Lamar Jackson as my fantasy quarterback, and I'm someone who wants to see the Ravens do good so that the young man could get his money. But I like the fact that Tua just came out and like said, you know what? It is what it is, man. Like let's go play ball. I got my weapons. They down there somewhere. I'm gonna throw it up to them, and we gonna see what happens. I'm extremely proud and happy for the Miami Dolphins. That was a hell of a win. That was a hell of a win. That's one of those wins that puts you in the mindset and the state of mind that we can beat anybody. We can beat anybody. There's nobody who we cannot beat, and that's good. That's amazing. Miami Dolphins moved to 2-0. We ain't even talk about the Ravens. Lamar Jackson had a hell of a day. Hell of a day. Rashad Bateman is turning out to be who I thought he was going to be, somebody who's going to blow the top off defenses. And dude got speed. I ain't know his speed was like that, but he had speed. Defensively, the Ravens got to figure some stuff out. Granted, you were playing probably the fastest receiving core that you're going to see all season. And granted, it's week 2, but I saw the rookie Kyle Hamilton in a lot of positions that he didn't look too comfortable in. I don't know what you do in the secondary because you had a lot of busted coverages. There was a lot of busted coverages in that game from Baltimore. And Tua made them pay. Tua made them pay, man. Tua made them pay. Lamar Jackson had a beautiful 75-yard touchdown run. And for somebody who put on 15 pounds of muscle and still being able to move at a 4.3, 4.4 speed is ridiculous. I still think the Ravens are the team to beat in that division. I still think that the Ravens' upside for what they can do this season is going to be amazing. I do see them hosting a playoff game this year in Baltimore, so I don't think this one hurts. This one hurts because you had it and you lost it, but you got to bounce back from it. Miami Dolphins moved to 2-0. Baltimore Ravens fall to 1-1. That's how the cookie crumbled in Baltimore this week. What we got next? Buccaneers and Saints. Before we talk about the game, let's talk about the fight. Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans. A lot of people upset Mike Evans got suspended for a game. His defense, that was Tom Brady. I'm going to defend Tom Brady. What do you want me to do? I understand that completely 100%. I get you. I hear you loud and clear, my boy. But when this goes back to 2017, the way it has, and that's not the first time you done laid hands on Lattimore like that. And I'm not defending Lattimore because I can't stand Lattimore personally. I don't like him. I just don't like the Saints. I don't like the Buccaneers either, but we got to talk about it. That escalated quick. You know, that escalated quick because Lattimore and Brady had words. Fournette stepped in, shoved Lattimore, and from my understanding, before Lattimore could even make another move, Mike Evans was boom on him. And from there it was a brawl. Mike Evans gets ejected, Lattimore gets ejected, Mike Evans gets suspended. The Buccaneers go on to win the game. But as far as the game, that was an ugly game. Tom Brady struggled. For some reason, he cannot play against the Saints. For some reason, Tom Brady is not Tom Brady against the Saints. Did have a late touchdown to Rashad Perriman, which ultimately was enough to get them to win. But Jameis showed a little bit of his old Jameis ways. Had a hell of a game last week against us. Hell of a fourth quarter. It was the complete opposite. He had 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter, 2 to Jamal Dean. And, I mean, the Buccaneers prevailed. I mean, I think a lot of people had the Bucs winning this week, but for them to lose the way they lost, it was kind of that was just an ugly game. That was just an ugly game. Bucs move to 2-0. Saints fall to 1-1. Let's move on. Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions, man. How can you not love the Lions? The Lions are turning out to be not America's team, but somewhat of America's sweetheart, man. Dan Campbell and the respect and the love and the passion that those guys play with, man. It's hard not to root for them. It's hard not to root for the Detroit Lions, man. But from a football perspective, let's talk about it. Jared Goff had a hell of a game yesterday. Period. DeAndre Swift has had his first 2 weeks look amazing. Like, he looks like he's ready to turn it up and become one of the best backs in the league, like Deuce Staley said. And Amon-Ra St. Brown. Woo! I got so tired of seeing him pop up on my TV yesterday. NFL Red Zone Chris Hansen cutting to Detroit like every other minute, man. Like, because Amon-Ra St. Brown was doing something amazing. I mean, that Detroit team played good. It played really good. And I think with the way they played yesterday, they could have possibly beat anybody in the league, maybe except the Bills and the Packers and the Chiefs. Anybody else with the way the Lions played yesterday probably would have got beat. Or Sunday, I'm sorry. But Lions played good. Lions played real good. Commanders didn't even play that terrible. Aiden Hutchinson came out, breakout, coming out party, 3 sacks against. That was a hell of a game for the Lions. The first sellout in Ford Field in a long time. That city seems to be behind them. Those players are playing for Dan Campbell. It's looking up in Detroit. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm hoping they can build on it and make some noise in that NFC North. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens. We'll just see. We're gonna start the late games. We're gonna start Seahawks and 49ers. Seattle traveled to San Francisco, and that was a tough one for me. Geno Smith and the Seahawks kind of came back down to reality, came back down to earth after that Broncos high. Trey Lance, that's tough. You get drafted third. You're coming out of the draft. You're the quarterback with the most question marks. 49ers mortgage the future for you. You know, they sit you for a year because Jimmy G's still under contract. Jimmy G takes him to the NFC Championship game, couple plays away from the Super Bowl. Come back, you know, Jimmy G says goodbye to the San Francisco fans and organization pretty much. The only reason he's probably not traded is because he has surgery. So with that, it's kind of difficult to find a trade partner. So you keep him, which kind of puts Trey Lance in the mindset of, like, not necessarily like, you know, here we go again, but you don't have that peace of mind as far as, you know, you being able to make mistakes and it's such thing as having a short leash and a long leash. Now, we'll never know how long or short Trey Lance's leash was because of his injury, but just playing with that, just looking over and seeing 10 over there and just knowing, like, there's somebody capable of coming in for me if I don't do my job, so I gotta do my job. I feel bad for him. In a matter of 2 weeks, they've lost their starting quarterback and their starting running back. And it's just tough. It's looking like it's going to be tough to be a 49ers fan this year. But you know what you got with Jimmy G. You know what you got. You know what he's going to bring to the table. And it's probably only going to get better for him because George Kittle's coming back. I mean, Elijah Mitchell, I don't think is out for the entire season, but the 49ers beat up on the Seahawks pretty bad, 27-7. 49ers moved to 1-1. Seahawks fall to 1-1. I believe the 49ers are 1-1. Yeah, they lost to the Bears week 1. 49ers 1-1. Falcons Rams. We ain't gonna take too much time on this one. Falcons came out flat. Rams came out hot. Falcons got down 28-3. Yes, I said 28-3. They started making their comeback. Here's what I got to say about the Falcons. As exciting and as interesting as the offense has been with Marcus Mariota and the new pieces and Drake London coming to life, because Drake London started to look like he's going to be a baller. Drake London is looking like he's going to be a true number one. Arthur Smith has to find a way to get Kyle Pitts to football. Period. Now I don't know if he's drawing up plays for Kyle Pitts and it's just not working out, or if teams are like seriously loading on him, or what it is. But that dude's a weapon. He's a legit weapon. He has to have the football in his hands. The training camp he had, the Kyle Pitts needs the football. Period. Here's what I'm gonna say. It's probably going to piss some people off. I'm a true believer that if we still have Matt Ryan, with this being his second year in the offense, with the receivers that we have, with the offensive line looking like they're going to be more stable, then I really truly believe that if we still had Matt Ryan on this team, we would be 2-0. That's my overreaction. That's my bold statement, whatever you want to call it, but we don't have Matt Ryan. I do want to speak on what I will say is this. For the Falcons to have the ball down 6 2 different times within the last 4 minutes, and them not come away with the necessary points to win, I'll be honest with you. I'm starting to look at Arthur Smith a little not funny, not sideways, but kind of like, what are you doing? I'm not the type of guy that's gonna make it seem like it's okay to win just because you got time, just because you don't have a. That's not okay, man. Like it's not. Play to win the game. You play to win the game. Period. Ain't that what Herm Edwards said? And as far as that last play, Braylon Edwards did not see Jalen Ramsey. So he went up as if he was open. Jalen Ramsey came over the top and made a hell of a play on the football. He's an all-pro player. He's a top 10 player in the league. He's going to do that from time to time. Rams beat the Falcons 31-27. Falcons fall to 0-2. Rams get their first win of the season, going to 1-1. Seahawks. Arizona Cardinals traveled to Vegas to play the Raiders. Another crazy come-from-behind win. Kyler Murray was having a bad game. He was having a rough, ugly, bad game up until probably maybe the last 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. 13-23. Crazy. Cardinals score a touchdown, takes the game to 13-23. Kyler Murray scrambles around for 22 seconds. 22. Think about that. 22 seconds. I want you to count from 1 to 22. That's how long the 2-point conversion was that Kyler Murray converted. And then ran in. Still didn't even throw the ball to nobody. Ran it in. Video game type shit. After that, Kyler Murray comes. They get the ball back. Kyler Murray drives them back down the field. They score a touchdown again. 21-23 Raiders. Got to go for 2 again. Kyler Murray does it again. Goes for 2. Hits A.J. Green at the back of the end zone on a dart. I'm talking about. For him to be as short as he is and throw that ball as hard as he did, I don't understand it. Don't understand it. Go to overtime. Neither team can get anything going in overtime. Derek Carr hits Hunter Renfrow on a little short, on a slight little out, and fighting for extra yards. Clemson on Clemson's crime, man. Isaiah Simmons comes up out of nowhere and just smacks him, and he fumbles. Brian Murphy takes it to the house. Touchdown Cardinals. Cardinals win. That fourth quarter is why you pay Kyler Murray what you pay him. It is. That fourth quarter is why you pay Kyler Murray. Period. It ain't really too much else to say other than that. Cardinals move to 1-1. Raiders fall to 0-2. Devontae Adams is having some hell of a games too, man. He's having some games. I think the Raiders are gonna figure it out though. I know it's tough in that division, falling to 0-2, but I think the Raiders are gonna figure it out. Houston Texans, Denver Broncos. I like Davis Mills. I like Davis Mills a lot. Is he the franchise quarterback of the Houston Texans? I don't know. I can't sit here and say that. But I like Davis Mills a lot. I think Davis Mills is going to have a good NFL career. I think he's going to be just fine. Broncos got some work to do, man. Broncos got some work to do. This is the second straight week they've came out flat. And I'm going to just be honest with you. Due to them being at home and just due to the lack of talent on the Houston Texans roster, that's why I think they won the game. Like, they play a lot of other teams this week, and they don't win. The Texans kind of let them off the hook, but Russ got to figure it out. They paid him $200. They paid what, $245, and like, you the next great thing in Denver, man. Like, it's nothing in Denver after you. I ain't gonna say after you, but like, you are the future right now. You're the reason we didn't draft a quarterback. You're the reason we trading first round picks. Like, we banking on you right now. So we need you. Not really too much to say about this game. Broncos came out on top 16-9, but it was ugly. It was not a very convincing win. It was ugly. Broncos moved to 1-1. Houston Texans fall to 0-1-1. Cincinnati Bengals, Dallas Cowboys. This was a tough one. Bengals coming off a week 1 L. An ugly week 1 L at that to the Steelers with the way they lost. Coming to Dallas, playing the Cowboys, no Dak. I mean, you would just think that this would be the game the Bengals come bounce back on, but that Bengals offensive line is still a problem. It is. You go out and you sign Alex Copper, you go out and you sign La'el Collins, and Joe Burrow still can't get a clean pocket. He can't. Joe Burrow still can't get a clean pocket. They got to figure that out. They got to figure it out. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They got to figure it out. You got to be able to protect 9. You can't protect 9, you don't have a future. You can't protect 9, you don't win games. You don't protect 9, 185 and 83 are pointless. You got to be able to protect Joe Burrow, and it's just that simple, period. There's no reasons why the Cowboys should come out here with a backup quarterback with the team you have coming from the Super Bowl, with the talent that you have on that team, in a stadium where you can air it out. I'm sorry. Good win, Cowboys. Great game, Cooper Rush. Great preparation, Mike McCarthy. But Cincinnati, y'all gotta win that. Y'all gotta win that. Dallas Cowboys moved to 1-1. Cincinnati Bengals fall to 0-2, and it's looking like that Super Bowl hangover is looking like a real thing. That sucks to say, but it's looking like it's real. We're going to move to Sunday night football. Not going to get caught up on this one too much. Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Bears had a good week 1. Some say that they won due to the weather conditions. And, it just played in their favor. You got Aaron Rodgers. You need everything in your favor. But Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon looking like they're going to be a problem. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon put on a show in that Green Bay backfield. Aaron Jones had over 150 yards rushing. Crazy production. Allen Lazard was back. Aaron Rodgers looked a little bit more comfortable with his receivers. And the young guys showed some flashes. 87 more than 9. But the young guys showed some flashes. Sammy Watkins got into action. Randall Cobb had some big catches. I would still love to see Tunyon get more involved. I think Tunyon can be a true weapon for this team. Chicago, not really much to say. David Montgomery looks like he's going to be a stud all season. Looks like he's going to do big things for Chicago. Justin Fields and that offense, I mean, Darnell Mooney is non-existent. Cole Kmet is non-existent. I mean, they Justin Fields, in my opinion, is just too talented for you to not be able to move the football at all, man. I mean, I think they had something like 4 or 5 straight 3-and-outs. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. 4 or 5 straight 3-and-outs. That's even though Green Bay has one of the better defenses, all around defenses. You got talent. Justin Fields is a multi-dimensional quarterback who can do a lot of different things. Matt Eberflus, you got to figure it out. Bears fall to 1-1. Green Bay moves to 1-1. And I think this is the start of something great for Green Bay. A good run that they're about to go on. They got Tampa Bay next week, so that's gonna be a good one. Let's move to Monday night. We had a doubleheader on Monday night. First game was Tennessee at Buffalo. And just straight up, Buffalo looked dominant. Buffalo looked like the real deal. They looked like the Super Bowl favorites. They came out here in the first 2 weeks and beat the defending Super Bowl champs, and they beat the AFC #1 seed last year. I don't care who the Titans lost and who they brought back. That's a good team coached by a good man. Mike Vrabel is a good coach. And the Bills just made them look bad. 41-7. The Bills look like they have the potential to score on every possession, and that's no joke. No Gabriel Davis, no problem. Josh Allen looks like the MVP. Let's flip it and talk. And that defense, go ahead, mercy, that defense. I bet they'll have some Pro Bowlers this year. Von Miller is looking like he look like he's going for Defensive Player of the Year. He looks like he's playing determined football, like no joke. And that secondary is, once they get Tre'Davious White back, it's gonna be ugly. It's already ugly, but it's going to be ugly. The young guys are playing good. 24, Elam, 47, Benford. Those guys are playing great football. I mean, Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds up the middle. Buffalo. It's looking good in Buffalo. It's looking real good in Buffalo. Titans, I don't really know what to say. Tannehill seems to be struggling with the lack of targets. Not lack of targets, with the lack of receiver depth. You bring in Austin Hooper, but you got to use him. And last night, Derrick Henry only got 13 carries for 25 yards. And when 70% of your offense is you can't even go to, it's going to be ugly for you. It's going to be an ugly night. The biggest question mark for me last night wasn't the offensive production for Tennessee. It was, what does Malik Willis coming in the game late in the fourth quarter mean, or does it mean anything? Is he closer to starting than we think? Or were you just doing that so, Tannehill couldn't get hurt? I mean, that's going to raise some eyebrows, and it's going to bring some questions that you're going to have to answer this week. I just hope you're ready to answer them, big dog. Titans fall to 0-2. Them and the Bills them and the Bengals. The Titans and the Bengals got some holes. They done put themselves in some situations. And the Bills moved to 2-0. Bills looking good. Bills and Dolphins is going to be very interesting this year. Last game of the week. Minnesota Vikings travel to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Eagles surprised me a little bit. Eagles came out on top with the win. Jalen Hurts looked amazing. Miles Sanders looked amazing. That offense just looked amazing. And the defense looked even better. Since Justin Jefferson has entered the league, I don't think anybody has made him look as bad as Darius Slay did last night. Darius Slay might have had the best game of his career last night. And that's no joke. If you watch that game from start to finish, Darius Slay was on Justin Jefferson hard. Philly plays like that, they're going to be hard to beat. Dalvin Cook only has 6 carries. Adam Thielen still wasn't involved in the offense. Irv Smith Jr. isn't really there. Kirk Cousins had a rough game. Philly looks good. Philly looks real good. They look a lot better than I thought they were going to look. That's really all I got for that game. It wasn't really that was pretty cut and dry. Philly came out and they were dominant from the start. That's real talk. Um, Minnesota's gonna be okay though. I think they're gonna be fine. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to panic about. Minnesota's gonna be just fine. Minnesota falls to 1-1. Eagles move to 2-0. That's our week 2 recap, guys. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow there will be 2 videos. I definitely want to get. I want to do something with the MLB. Don't really know what yet, and want to do something with college football. So those will probably be the 2 videos tomorrow. Then on Thursday, we are definitely doing the Throwback Thursday to Sean Cooper. And also on Thursday, we're going to do our week 3 predictions for the NFL. After that, I don't know what we're going to do this week, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that. I appreciate you guys, man. See y'all tomorrow. Z.